Good afternoon. Afternoon all. Hope you are well, making sure I'm coming through okay. Who's in the room? Ian, how you doing? Lam, Mohammed, hope you are all well. If you are in the room, come and say hello. It's always good to be interactive. Yeah, Lam, so Euro Yen, I've been watching that for a while, right? You know the setup I was looking at. So the setup was there. It was nice. Let me just get my pen up, excuse me. But it came during the Asian session when I was sleeping. So Rohan, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. So unfortunately, I didn't get in on it, you know, so the setup was clean. Came here. This was your breakout. So the breakout here, obviously we had our squeeze in. Everything was looking good. Pushed through that area, came back and retested. And there is your catalyst, bright as day for me. This hammer candle, rejection of that 20, rejection of that previous resistance, potentially becoming new support, and it also came on a higher volume. So that was a trade all day. So for me, if I was not sleeping, I would have taken this here as a market order, stops underneath the previous swing, TP1 roughly here, and I'll be trailing the rest. So I would have actually moved my stop here. I wouldn't have got in any of this, so I would have been out roughly at this point in time. But it would have been a winning trade. Maybe about a 0.9R for me personally. Just didn't get a swing here to move my stop. But that was nice. Yeah, you got into it, right? Took some profits, thanks. You're welcome, mate. But that was nice. You know, you just look at that kind of, look at this price action here, you know, and specifically probably here. You're just getting that accumulation, aren't you? That squeeze into that area. That's what we like to see. And a slight fake here, pull back, proper break, come back, got our catalyst, and off we motor. So that was a nice trade. Unfortunately for me, I just didn't get in on it. But I'm glad you made some profits on it. Now, you know what the most annoying thing is? Look at this. Look at that. I honestly cannot believe that has happened. And that's what I'm editing my YouTube video now about this trade and how I'm not taking a trade all month. But look at the power just there. Sell by market, stop loss there. Okay, fair enough, your TP1's here. But your stop would have been moved here. Your stop would have been moved here. And now because of the breakthrough, your stop would have been moved down here. I mean, I have to say, I'm so pissed off at Etisalat for that. I can't believe that the one day in the month was when that happened. But anyway, I've got to kind of forget about it. It's happened now. But another good setup. So you've got pound Aussie there, which was a setup, was a winner. You've got EJ, which was a setup, was a winner. So we can see the power of that breakout retest, right? B-O-R-T, Bort, I call it. So these breakout retests, although they are selective, they are very powerful. They are really powerful, and they've got a high win rate, more, you know, higher than my breakout trades. But I mean, that I'm kind of wanting this to come back up so it stops my pain, right? Because I'm thinking, shit, you know, I would have gotten all this. And this is where my edge comes from, right? This is where my edge comes from, because those 3 or 4, maybe more, 5 or 6 trades a year where you get your, you know, 8 to even 15% on one particular trade, they make your year. You know, you get 3 10%. That's 30%, and as long as you're just chugging away for the rest of the time, you'll be fine. But geez, that's frustrating. That is frustrating. Anyway, nothing I can do about it. It is gone now. Bloody internet. Yeah, I know. Missed 2 A-class setups. Yeah. Well, EJ was just over Asia. That, you know, that happens sometimes. Yeah, I'm a bit unlucky, but it does happen. The good news is I'm in another one. So I'm in this CAD Swiss trade. I don't know, Rohan, if you are still selling this, but for me, this is a setup here. So we've got our big V reversal, followed by our cut with handle or double V reversal here, increasing pressure into this level. So this is good. The only thing I didn't like about it was the risk reward is, you know, you got about a 65 pip stop. You know, ideally we would have got a reload here, but maybe that was asking for a bit too much. However, it's okay because we've got some space here before our next resistance area. So I'm in that trade. My stops are down here, and he closed all in profit. Okay, good. Well done. Yeah, because I was about to say, this looks good. You know, the daily looks good. Outside bullish engulfer, crossing over that 20, crossing over that 200. We have breached the 61.8 from this move. So you're considering that 61.8 is your kind of line in the sand. And we're just seeing that rising pressure into the level. Stocks are pushing on. We are getting some fluidity. So for the first time in a while, I'm confident about this market. I actually like this market. And we've seen that in the last couple of setups that unfortunately I didn't get. But I like the fact that risk on and markets pushing is now relating to yen weakness and Swiss weakness. US dollar will go into because it's kind of in a probably a ranging position. But yeah, CAD Swiss I'm in, and hopefully play that to the upside. Now I had a few on my watch list, and the difference was, so if we look at, let's say CAD yen, for example, the difference between CAD yen is it's not as clean. I've got it on my watch list as a potential breakout and retest, so I can look for this as a breakout retest. But it's just not as clean as CAD Swiss because we didn't have the initial kind of tag on that level. If we did, then I would have taken this as well. But also, because we've just, you know, pushed through initially from this hammer bar here, if I bring it back to the CAD Swiss, the reason why I liked it a bit better was because of these 8 hours of price action. So we had this rejection, closed above the 20, but then we had that 8 hours of price action, just reloading back to that 20, making that trend healthier, and then a nice Marabuzo candle, roughly on that 20. So that for me was good. So I liked that. So that's why I couldn't take CAD yen on the breakout, but I can look for it as a breakout retest. So CAD yen is on the watch list for a retest. Again, that daily looks good. Yen's coming off a little bit. Oil's pushing on. So that's you know, looks good for the CAD right now. Also, pound yen. I've got 7 pairs on my watch list. So pound yen again, very similar to CAD yen, just not a tag on this area initially. So we were looking at this, and I just wanted a little bit more accumulation here to take that break. But it looks as if we may get that retest. And the good thing about this retest is it'll come on that 200, and it'll come on that 20, and it'll come on that previous resistance, becoming new support. So you've kind of got a triple whammy there of support to your stop loss and to support to that trade. You know, so the 4 hour, you know, ideally we'd get a nice hammer here. A nice hammer, and with my 4 hour breakout retest, I can put the stop underneath the candle. And again, you just got that 3 areas of support to price to protect you from your upward trajectory movement. So GJ I like as well. So CAD yen and GJ, see selling that yen on a risk off sentiment is making sense right now. Euro, this really frustrates. That's why new traders or struggling traders takes trades even if one of the parameters is missing, end up being over trading. Yeah, that's exactly what my my YouTube video is on, Rohan, over trading and trying to be more selective. Because I think, you know, certainly for swing traders or more longer term traders like me, you'll find the better ones, not saying I'm the better one, but I think I'm a decent one, are more selective, right? We don't want to, certainly for placing a lot of money on a trade, if I don't have that gut feeling. So this for me is that gut feeling. So I knew I liked CAD Swiss. I knew I needed to wait for GJ. It's just that gut feeling of, and trusting that gut and having the discipline to not take trades that you just have a little bit of a, I'm not sure if I should take that, but I'm going to take it because I want to be in a trade, if that makes sense. Okay, Euro Pound. Euro Pound is another one that is looking quite nice. Again, you can just tell by this area, this push, that it needs a little bit more. We haven't had a tag here, okay? So I'm considering this our basing cup structure because we haven't tagged that area. If we had, you can consider this a cup with handle and then look at accumulation. So because of this price action here, I'm waiting for this to probably digest a little bit more. If we accumulate, right? So if we accumulate now underneath this area, that'll be good, right? I don't mind that because your stop would be underneath here and your breakout there. We've had our fake out. We've had our potential stop hunt here. But I just need a little bit more, again, to make this a little bit healthier. I mean, ideally, you'd get something like this. I just don't think it's going to happen. So it may be one that if it does do this, we've kind of got our cup with handle, and we can look for a breakout retest. It's not ideal, but I'm going to keep it on my watch list just to see how that sets up. You know, I like the daily context. I like this rising 4 pattern here. You know, that kind of igniting pattern, and it's working at the moment, isn't it? So we had this igniting pattern here, which I discussed on A1 trading, higher volume, lower volume, higher volume on the outside bullish engulfing. And then we had this battle bar. So a battle bar is basically an indecision doji. You call it a battle bar because when it comes on high volume, it's basically a battle between buyers and sellers, right? So buyers are pushing it, sellers are pushing it down, but it's going nowhere. And now we're getting some direction with the buyers taking control. So I like the idea of euro pound to the upside. I just have a feeling that that is going to rise and break out, and I'm not going to be a part of it. So what else do I like? USD yen is another one that I was looking at. I'll go into the dollar and the SPX after my watch list today, just because I'm kind of on a roll. So I was looking at this dollar on this 4-hour chart. Again, decent context, but it wasn't a breakout because the move has started from down here. So the move started down here. We would have needed another reload. Again, you know what I'm looking for, just to make it a bit healthier. So we're getting in on that break at a good time where we could potentially move quite suddenly. So we'll have to wait and see how this retests. I presume if we put a fib on it, your retest is coming on that 23.6 now. So that's obviously a little bit of a, for me, a worrisome retest because you prefer for that retest to come between that 40-60 box. So I'll keep it on. I'll keep watching it, but the fact that it pushed through a bit early makes me a bit wary on USD yen, to be honest with you. Don't like taking things that are extended. I'm saying that the daily looks good. You know, we're pushed out from these anchors now. So, you know, possibly changing trend. It's got a bit of space to the next real area. And I like the bias to the upside. But again, it's just one that I can't really get involved in. And finally, the Dow. So the US 30 is looking okay. I had a trade or I had a breakout order in this yesterday on account of this bar, similar to CAD Swiss. Didn't get triggered in. My stop was initially underneath there. So I took that trade out and I was waiting for it to reset up. Now it is kind of resetting up. We're getting our head and shoulders here. It's still valid, but similar to CAD yen, I don't want this to break now. So it's there, it's good. I'm just waiting for a few bars of accumulation here to take that to the upside. The only issue we have now is obviously our stop's quite large if we take the breakout here, which I wouldn't do anyway. So ideally we get this, stops under there to take to the breakout. So it's 90% there on the US 30. Daily chart is good. You know, we're going with trend. The Dow is lagging behind the SPX. You'd expect it to push on. It's respecting that 20. We've got a nice outside bullish engulfer on that 20 here. We've got another rejection here. This looks good. You know, this looks good. The only thing that I was initially worried about was this turning into a complex. But because we've broken out very slightly of what would have been this B wave, it kind of changes your sentiment a little bit that this Dow may want to push on. So I like it, but you know, if we kind of zoom in, we don't really want to be taking a break at this area. And if you just look at the candles, they're kind of falling in range, right? So you could say that maybe that little reaction is coming, which is exactly what we want. So the US 30 looks good to the upside. Expected risk return on the US 30. Tian, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. I would do the same thing, Tian, for me. You've got these highs here, but because we're breaking out of this section, I'm okay with that. So if we get a slight reload here, your 1-to-1 could be roughly around all-time highs, and then I just do the same thing, right? I let 50% run and just trail the swings. You know, if I ever get a setup buying the indexes, I'm perfectly happy to do that. We know indexes are long. I mean, they're pretty much a guaranteed profitable investment over the long term. Now, I know we're trading short term here, but for me, again, take profits when the market, pay yourself when the market makes it available. So I do that at 1-to-1 risk reward, and then I just let the second one run, because the idea is you get onto a trade like this. I mean, that's your goal, right? To get onto these kind of trades. Now, these don't happen often. Don't get me wrong. Most of my trades will maybe go to here and then maybe give us one swing and come back. So these are kind of rare, but you know, that's personally where my edge comes from, and just let them run as much as they want to run. Okay, let's do the indexes, and then I'll do the dollar. And not bad, Scotsman. And Mohammed, could you please look at NZD JPY? Yeah, sure. I'll look at NZD JPY as well. Look at my shirt, by the way. You see this is my team in Dubai. Look at the sponsor. Here we are, making moves. Okay, SPX is looking long. It looks pretty risk on. What ideally you'd like to happen here is we get our kind of cup with handle pattern. Again, it is long. We are on an uptrend, but you want to make this break kind of healthier, because we want this type of market to sustain, right? We don't want pushes that are looking quite unsustainable. We want, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. We want a healthy uptrending market because we like these conditions. You know, I love these conditions. I feel confident in it. So if we can get something like this in the SPX and a breakthrough, I think this decent sentiment could sustain for, you know, a little bit. Daily's moving up. Yeah, SPX is long. SPX is long, certainly if we get a nice context here. You know, you could see a slight movement to the downside if it does want to do that. But eventually I can see that, you know, pushing on and breaking through highs, because market's been resilient. You've got to continue to go with it. Can you review XRP? Oh, XRP, my favorite crypto. Yeah, I can. I'll do that. Actually, I don't think I've got XRP. I think they had it on this platform. And I don't know whether that's the right price, because I think they stopped when Ripple had its problem with the SEC. I'm not sure if they stopped trading it. Is that the right? Okay, so maybe they put it back now. So yeah, I'll look at that. I'll look at that, Rohan. Okay, dollar. Dollar on the 4-hour, or let's start this on the daily, because this is interesting. We've got a decent rejection here on the daily from this support zone, right? Tagged it pretty much to a T, and a decent bit of volume coming in. So, you know, we were bearish on the dollar, but we have to go with what we see on the charts. And right now, with that daily hammer and this 4-hour, you know, it's kind of giving us mixed messages, right? Because we could be in for a potential head and shoulders here. A breakthrough of this area and a breaking close would signal maybe we're in for a change in trend, because it looks less to be like a pullback now, right, for trend continuation because of what we've seen here, this V reversal. But we are also not breaking above these moving averages, and we're not breaking above this kind of anchor to the downtrend. So I think dollar's in a little bit of a, you know, it's in the middle of a few things you could say. I think waiting for that confirmation of a break above here for potential movement to the upside on the dollar. Now, If the dollar wants to act like it was doing pre-COVID, where stocks rise and dollar rise, then yeah, you could see that push on. You know, maybe we consider this as, you know, a larger possible channel. Maybe that happens. Excuse me. So maybe that happens with the dollar. But until you get that confirmation, you've still got to be thinking short. And I don't have any personal setups in the dollar, I don't think. But I would just wait for that confirmation on which direction that dollar wants to go. Because right now, it could go either way, basically. So I'm going to sit on the fence on this and say, right, if we get a break and close above here, then okay, up. We get a break and close down here, then yeah, okay, down. So that's what I'll say with the dollar. Bit of a mixed messages. Okay, I'll go through the ones you've asked me to. So what's first? Mohammed, NZD JPY. NZD JPY. Around 77.67. Oh God. 77.67. So you're looking for a pullback here, right? On the smaller time frames. 77.67. So down here. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? New Zealand's been strong. The yen's been weak. I don't particularly like this, right? I don't like this as a retest. You've got a slight, I mean, you've got a slight kind of decent pattern there, squeeze into that area, albeit small, but the context is there. I just don't like what it's doing right now. You know, we have to remember, look where it's come from, right? So for me, I wouldn't be buying it. You know, we've tagged these highs, so you could be getting a reaction around these highs. So for me, I wouldn't be buying it at 77.67. Remember, this is just my personal bias. If your strategy tells you to buy it, then buy it. But because of where we've come from, do you really think, not in a bad way, Mohammed, this is not in a bad way, but do you think that that's going to happen again? So can you see that doing the exact same thing, moving on? I personally can't. If you're trading at smaller term, okay, I get it. But you could see a bit of a reaction here before it continues the upside just because of this decent movement. So I think with the NZD JPY, I'd rather watch that 4-hour chart and look at a potential entry on a pullback, to be honest. But again, if that fits your strategy, then by all means, take it. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, Ripple. I'll do Ripple and then pound Swiss, and I'm gonna go and get my my car. I put my Jag in for like a kind of replacement. The fan wasn't working and the roof lining was kind of coming off, so I put my Jag in. It cost me an arm and a leg to fix it all, but thankfully I'm getting it this afternoon. It'll be like a brand new car, my new baby. Sorry, Ripple. And also, thanks everybody for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you like this, remember, hit that like. It helps me out a little bit to grow the channel. So that would be appreciated. Ripple looks good. Ripple looks good, Rohan. You know, not a bad place to buy it. You know, I always think of crypto as a long-term investment. So trading-wise, I can give you my bias, but I don't particularly trade it. But from this push, you know, you're getting that. You're just a very simple chart pattern, right? Break out of there looks good. You know, I like that, Rohan. You know, buying it there looks good. I can't say anything else apart from that. You know, if we get a break above the 4-hour, I don't know if you're trading it, but long term, it's a buy all day for me. If you're thinking long term, buy it all day. You know, buy it all day. For me personally, yeah, breaks above there. If it does break above there, it looks good. But you know, it looks great on the daily. So yeah, I agree with that. Pound Swiss slam, pound Swiss. Okay, I'll do pound Swiss and then I'm off ski. Pound Swiss looks nice. Now, if this pound Swiss had tagged this area here for me, might not look too bad, you know. And you could have looked at that as a cup, head and shoulders, right? So we've had a slight fake from this area here. The reason being is I don't think it would have. I wouldn't have taken that break lamb. But if you're not in it and you get, similar to what I'm looking at a few different pairs, if you get that, then same with GJ, a break above, or quite maybe slightly different from GJ, but a break above that area would look good. So yes, I think it's long. You know, you could be getting maybe it comes back to this area, but I don't think it was ready to break just yet. Yeah, not in yet. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, I agree with that. I think another little reload, and that would look good. I might actually consider taking that as well. If it comes in quite nice, you know, I might consider taking it. But yeah, waiting for that reload to move to the upside would be a good idea. But yeah, waiting is a good option for that. You know, daily as well. If you get a break above that area and a break and close, you're above that resistance area, right? You're above that 20. We have to remember that it still is counter trend, though. It is counter trend, albeit we've had a decent day here. But you know, you break up above that, then it could be a very decent trade to the upside. And I like the idea. I mean, right now, selling the Swiss, selling the yen against those commodity currencies or against any of the kind of risk-on currencies, your pound or your euro, makes sense to me. So, you know, that's why I use the risk sentiment, and that's why I'm saying for a while that I've not liked the indexes for a while, but I like them now. I don't want to, you know, touch wood. I hope this continues. But if you get that nice flowing movement, which we're kind of got in this week, you know, if you see a setup against that Swiss, you see a setup against that yen, take it. As long as it fits your strategy, take it, because you have that added confluence of that risk sentiment in your favor, right? So, yeah, pound Swiss, I kind of like. And I think that's it, right? I've done Euro Pound, I've done USD Yen, done all of them. So waiting for, I think USD Yen is probably gone. Waiting for a bit more on Euro Pound, in CAD Swiss, waiting for a retest on GJ, waiting for accumulation on the Dow, waiting for, I think, a retest on CAD Yen. Is that right? CAD Yen, I think, is broke. Yeah, waiting for a retest here. And, oh, sorry, the last one is Pound CAD. Sorry, the last one is Pound CAD. So Pound CAD here on the daily, potentially on the 4 hour, but I think it's cleaner here on the daily. You can see a possible head and shoulders here, right? A bit of wiki price action. So again, very similar, waiting for a bit more and this side of it to take this to the downside. So, you know, the head and shoulders is a good indication. We've come from an uptrend. That's what your head and shoulders is, right? It's a trend change indicator. The only thing about it is, well, actually saying that, you know, I was about to say we've come from a decent move to the downside, but we're kind of getting price action that's digested it now, right? And I was looking at this on the 4 hour because if we take this as a B, C here as our corrective, I can look at breaks of B wave. The reason why I prefer that is our risk reward is obviously better on the 4 hour chart. And we've got our V reversal. We've got our corrective. This, actually, do you know what? This is nice. I have to say, this is actually nice. The more I look at it, the more I like it. So we, at this B wave, got V reversal. We've got a nice corrective here we've broken out of. Moving averages are above. If we can get the same thing, another reload here, squeeze into that area, that would be a good trade as well, you know? You know, I mean, simple hammer, simple downtrend. We're coming from this decent impulse to the downside, so your path of least resistance is to the downside, and you've got that higher time frame confluence with that head and shoulders, right? Looks as if momentum, you know, was kind of stalling there. So maybe with oil possibly pushing on and those stocks pushing on, this looks not bad to the downside. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on Pound CAD. I'll add the 4 hour to my watch list. I need to add that to my watch list. There we go. So a few nice setups. Hey Alan, how you doing? You're coming at the end, mate. I've literally just finished. A few nice setups today. But again, remember, just be patient. Make sure the ones you're taking are the correct ones. Because I don't know what you guys did last month or how your August performance was. I mean, mine was obviously 0 because I didn't take a trade. But if I had taken a trade, I would have smashed my my 3% target in one trade. Smashed it on this. Anyway, I can't go into that because it's going to get me pissed off. Anyway. All right, guys, I appreciate you coming. I'll be back on Friday, and I'll see you then. Trade safe. Peace. you.